But what I read on a General Tuesday Funk is microessays where I try to sort through the detritus of my own life. So here's one of those. The first time I went to a therapist, I pointed to a name in the Blue Cross Blue Shield provider directory, which was an actual physical book I got in the mail because I'm old. In person, she was a hippie Earth Mother type, and that made me nervous. Frankly, I wasn't quite sure what I was doing there. At the end of our first session, she told me that my homework for the next week was to erect an altar to a goddess. Rather than say, this really isn't my jam, but thanks, lady, I went into full insecure mode. An altar? So, just like standard altar stuff then? Yep, just a regular altar, she said. Cool, so like candles or incense or, sure. Oh, and by the way, just like any old goddess, like, whoever, I guess. And she said, yep, just whoever you feel the most affinity with. So I walked out the door and never came back. But wait, let's back up. The actual first time I went to a therapist was in college when we got, as a part of our tuition package, 10 free mental health sessions. In that hour, an earnest, mustachioed man convinced me I had an eating disorder. Or maybe he didn't fully convince me because I remember running out of that building and across campus, not stopping until I got back to my dorm, as though putting distance between us was the thing that would loosen the pull of his conviction. I couldn't say, no, you're wrong, because how would I know? He seemed so sure. Instead, I hid. You could say I struggle with anxiety, but that's not the whole story. That's like having a cold, but saying you struggle with sneezing. More accurately, I struggle with trusting myself. I struggle with not writing those sentences in the past tense. The third therapist I went to was a social work student at George Washington University, which is like getting a haircut by a beauty school student, except with brains. During the intake, she asked if I ever thought about death. I'm a writer, of course I think about death. It was only when she eagerly asked me about suicide that I realized I'd made a terrible mistake. How do you explain to a therapy student that you meant that philosophically? How do you gently suggest that they consider rephrasing the question? Maybe you don't. Maybe, instead, you start crying for no reason. Things were off to a great start. I spent the remainder of our sessions doing everything in my power to make her feel like she was making a difference. At one point, I actually said, I think we made a breakthrough today. Oh, God. When she felt good, I felt good. This is the laughter of recognition. This isn't just me. This is like therapy right now. All right. Okay. So there are reasons for this, for all of this, of course. We all have reasons. Relationships we replay over and over with different people standing in for the original people. It's okay, though. You can't play musical chairs without the music. You can't play it without walking in a circle. The question is, what you do when the music stops, and holy shit, you've run out of chairs. Thank you.